Hello, dear folks. Welcome to season 5 of our On the Call series produced by the Stars Among Us. I'm Ozzy, and I'm very, very happy that you've tuned in to this thank you tour of mine, as each episode is a thank you card to those who have impacted my life. I'm shining light on Donna Grossman. Hello, Donna.
Hello, Ozzy.
Just so my audience knows who Donna is, I'm just going to do a recap of you.
Okay.
Donna casts for industry top directors and prestigious photographers. And so from a teaching degree and arts background, she began her casting career at DDB, which is a worldwide marketing communications network in New York, where some of her accounts included American Airlines, IBM, Clairol, and more. And after 2 years there, she was approached by Giraldi Productions to join the team, casting projects for Bob Giraldi and Jeffrey Mayo. And Bob Giraldi, if you guys don't know, is a film and TV director, one of the few directors to be inducted into the Arts Directors Hall of Fame. From there, she moved on to head the casting division of Griner, Questa, and Schrum, where she was the primary casting director of 6 television directors. Clients included Xerox, United Airlines, Arthritis Foundation, Girls Club of America, March of Dimes, and more. But in 1991, that's about over 3 decades ago, she went out on her own and opened her Donna Grossman Casting Company agency. While casting for U.S. clients in New York and California, her business expanded globally to include Italian, Spanish, German, Irish, English, South American, and Icelandic production company. And then in 2005, she built her Aqua Studios in the heart of New York City, which is a beautiful, serene studio. It calms you when you go in there, which spans from film, TV commercials, reality TV, voiceover, print advertising, digital projects, and theater. She has received several Clio awards for her commercials, and her favorite casting credits include Campari, one of my favorite drinks, Red Passion, for director Joel Schumacher, and public service projects for Farber, Center for Oncology, Look Good, Feel Better Foundation, and United Federation of Teachers. And with all that, she participates yearly in the 39-mile Avon Walk for breast cancer in New York City. Donna. So,
wow, that was, I think you know more about me than I remember.
That's usually the case. And the thing about Donna is the words that describe Donna, for me on my side, is the talent end of it. But I've also heard talent speak of clients' description of Donna. The words that come about for Donna are kind, open, generous, a people person, listener. And her Aqua Studios is one that people can let their guard down. And I know I have experienced that with her in the room a couple of times with some things that are going on with me. Going in there, getting ready to do a piece, and there's one word that Donna says, and all of a sudden I'm in tears. When I should be happy, I should be in a happy frame of mind to do what needs to be done. All of a sudden I'm in tears, and there I am, and she holds me up in the middle of a cast. Not once, but twice. So Donna, first question is, from the teaching degree and arts background, what got you into casting?
Oh boy. Well, first of all, Ozzy, thank you so much for inviting me. It's such an honor to be a part of this journey that you're taking and to include me. I'm absolutely humbled and, as I said, so honored to have been invited. So thank you. And thank you for that beautiful introduction. It's not often that I hear people talk about me. It's a funny feeling. I'm so moved to hear the words to describe me. So again, I thank you. How did I start this? Well, let's see. I always had a passion for movies and theater. My parents, well, my father was a singer. He was an incredible singer. Back in that time, my dad was born 1920. Mm-hmm. And when he joined the Army, he found an outlet to be part of a band, like a trio where he sang and they accompanied him. And they made these Frank Sinatra-esque records. And, back in those days, that was in the 40s. They were very primitive, of course. And he would send songs home to his mother, my grandma, Jen. I have those records, by the way. They're incredible. And the story goes that when he met my mom, he was really on the crest of really becoming something special, someone famous. He was really getting a name for himself. And my mother said, I don't want to be married to a performer. So you need to make a choice. It's either that or me. And my dad chose my mom. So I think that listening to him sing as a child and my parents taking my brother and I to theater, they took us to see the original production of Man of Mancha, a funny girl. We were very privileged in that sense. We didn't go very often, but when we did go, it was very, very special. And I used to watch those performances and get in that theater and something just came alive in me. I felt like I was just home, So I would sing with my dad, and it was always a side thing for me to sing and to act. And then I fell in love with, this is so long, but if I get boring, just tell me. I fell in love with Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop, and I decided I wanted to be a ventriloquist. So my parents, of course, got me my own little Lamb Chop puppet.
Oh, wow.
Which then turned into a Jerry Mahoney doll, which then turned into auditions in New York City as a ventriloquist to be on some sort of variety show where they actually told my parents that I was so talented that they actually had to go to the gentleman that made the puppets for Paul Winchell. They took me to this man and he made this incredible puppet for me. And lo and behold, I was a ventriloquist with this incredible dummy, and the show went off the air, so I never got on the show. But I started entertaining with this silly little puppet, and I was doing children's shows and singing and performing, and that led to me becoming this sort of entertainer at children's parties. Then I finally grew up a little bit and I went to school and graduated with a degree in fine arts and with a teaching degree as well to teach K through 12 and art. But when I needed extra credits to complete my degree, I didn't know what to do. So I decided to find a voice teacher and I took opera classes.
Wow.
And then started doing theater classes as well. It was just a mishmash of everything I loved. And I was surrounded by throwing pottery, welding sculptures, singing in opera classes, performing in little theater things, and just having a grand old time. And when I graduated, I tried to get a teaching position, but there was nothing available. There was such an influx of teachers that graduated at that time. I decided to pursue theater, and I auditioned for this theater. It was an equity theater on Long Island, and I got accepted into this theater. So I started doing musical theater and working towards my equity card. And that led to me doing all sorts of different shows and off-Broadway pieces. And my final curtain, I guess I should say, I was auditioning for Grease on Broadway for Rizzo. I sang my piece. I sang There Are Worse Things, and they sent me down to work with the choreographer. And I really was not a dancer. We started dancing. I asked if we could take 5, and the choreographer was nice enough to say yes. And I went out. It was on, I don't know, I guess 47th Street, somewhere there. And I went up to the street level. We were down below, and I went up to the street level to get some fresh air. I was in such a state of, they like me, I'm going to do this. What's my life going to be? And I looked up, and on the second floor was an employment agency. I think it was called Irene Marie. So I walked up the stairs. I don't know why. There was a man there named Harvey. I remember his name. He said, "What can I do for you?" I said, "My name is Donna Grossman. I'm in the middle of auditioning for Grease. I graduated with a degree to teach art and K through 12, I type 86 words a minute and I don't know what to do with my life. And he sent me to DDB that day. I never went back downstairs to the audition. I went right to DDB. I hailed a cab and I got into the cab and I went to DDB and I got a job at Doyle Dane Burbeck as a production secretary. And I never really looked back. I was doing production for a while and really enjoying it. I was still with a group doing some musical theater on the side, like a review, a musical review. Mm-hmm. And we were doing that at various places, restaurants and so forth. And I really did enjoy that. And I was rehearsing one day with some of my associates, and one of the people from the casting department saw me in this little room and came in and said, "Who are you and what are you doing here?" And I told them, and they said, "You know what? We need you in our casting department. I think that's where you should be." And the rest is history, really. That was Margaret Sala. Margaret Sala took me under her wing, and I worked with Judy Henderson and Margaret Sala and Susan Falk, and I learned casting, and I instantly fell in love with it. That is really where it began.
My goodness.
Long road.
Who knew?
Nobody, but they all will know now.
It's time to shine light on Donna. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
What a life.
Listen, it's no secret that I love actors. I love actors. I have such respect for actors. I have such respect for the actors that didn't ask for a 5-minute break to go upstairs and go to an employment agency and just leave. I really do think that that was my moment to say, wow, how brave and resilient are actors to be willing to go through all of this, the rejection and the running around, disappointments and the rewards, of course. But it's really just my love affair with the theater, with actors, with everything. And I feel so blessed to have lived a life where I have met such incredible people and had such wonderful opportunities to direct, to cast, to work with people before they really become who they've always dreamed to be, right? You know, I was watching the previews to the Academy Awards today, and there's Kirsten Dunst. I knew Kirsten Dunst when she was 3 years old. Wow. A little blonde, curly-haired, cute little girl who did commercials for me. And so to see her in Power of the Dog, oh my God, what a gift for me to have known her then and to have watched her grow into this incredible force. What a performance. What an incredible performance. So it's the joys of that for me are so much better than the applause and all of the stuff I was searching for, you know?
That being said, what has been the most challenging aspects of casting for you?
The most challenging? It's a good question. I think we all get into doing what's easy, doing what we enjoy. And the challenge is, I remember when I was approached to cast my first film, and I called a friend of mine, another casting director, and I said, "Oh my God, somebody wants me to cast a film." And I remember her saying, "Well, why shouldn't you cast a film?" I said, "Because I've never done it." And she said, "That's the reason why you should do it. And if you love it, you'll do more. And if you don't love it, you won't. But at least do it once and try it and see how you feel about it." I guess that might have been one of my greatest challenges, to take on a film and go outside my comfort zone and negotiate, do celebrity negotiating. It was all very new to me back then. And I guess that was one of my biggest challenges.
So at this point in your career, do you have more that you'd like to achieve that may be outside of your comfort zone, or where do you stand in it right now?
I mean, there's always more. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I should not say unfortunately, I'm so busy with the work that I do now that I don't know where I could find the time to do more film, to do stage. It's hard when you're in this cycle, you know, one job after another, especially now during the pandemic. We've scaled down because we're not in the studio. So it's a very, very different time. And again, I've been so fortunate that I really have been so busy. And that was so important to me, to keep actors busy, to keep agents busy, to keep producers busy, to keep everyone feeling like we're not lost. We're not going to lose this. We're going to keep busy. We're going to keep vital. We're going to keep producing. We're going to keep acting. We're going to keep auditioning. My husband, who is my partner in this business, was so determined to create a system online where we could have actors audition and do all the filling out of the forms and teaching everyone how to light and what kind of lights to get and what kind of sound and what kind of microphones and how to do this without spending a lot of money. And he did all the research. And when we thought we were closing up the studio, we gave lights away to actors that we knew that would need them. We were so lucky to be able to keep everything going without a blink, without a blink of an eye. So yeah, I mean, what do I want to do more of? I sort of digress a little bit. I don't know. I don't really think about what can I do more of. I just want to keep doing, whatever comes my way. I read script. I look at treatments. If I can do it, I want to do it. I kind of want to do everything,
Yes.
So when I was a teenager, maybe even younger, my grandmother was from Poland and she spoke Yiddish, which I did not, of course, speak. My mother did not really speak it. I guess she knew it just from listening to her parents. My grandfather was from Austria. My grandmother was from Poland and they spoke Yiddish. And my grandmother used to see me running around and she would say to me, Donna, or she used to call me Donala, mit ein Tuches wo keine tanzen auf drei Hasenes. And I never understood what that meant until I was older. And my mother said to me, that means with one behind, you cannot dance at 3 weddings. And that was really it in a nutshell and continues to be that. That is my life. That really is my life. I'm always trying to dance at 3 weddings with one behind. I'm always trying to do 100 things at once. And that's how I roll. You've seen me at the studio. Yeah. I'm running, I'm doing, I never sit down. And I love it. The busier I am, the happier I am.
That comes across.
It does.
Yes, that joy.
I'm a people lover.
Yeah. And you have a certain sense of everything is very organized. You know what you're doing. You seem to enjoy us because you seem to know every single one of the talent there. And they all have this lovely feeling towards you. And so the place is full of joy. Everybody's relaxed to do their best job for you. When we go into the room, we don't have that nervous tick that you would have somewhere else.
That's what I wanted to create. I used to work out of various studios in New York that had 8 studios, 10 studios. The hallways were always crowded. There was always a buzz of everybody running around. I felt it was exciting, but counterproductive at the same time. Mm-hmm. It was dark. It was very dark there. I felt that I wanted to be in an area that was light, which is why I took that studio with those large windows. And I had the waiting room with windows to get that natural light in. And I went with the colors of the sea, which is my happy place, which is why I called it Aqua Studios. Mm-hmm. I just wanted it to be that anti-studio. I wanted it to be a nurturing environment, a welcoming, light environment, so that actors could really do their best work, feel at ease, feel at peace, and know that they were in a safe, nurturing environment, that they could really be themselves and do their work. As I said, coming from the acting side, I felt the rejection. I saw the rejection firsthand, and I knew that I didn't want to ever be that person to intimidate anybody, or I don't really understand that. I never have. Mm-hmm. I never have understood when people tell me stories about going to an audition where they felt embarrassed or berated or intimidated. I never understood that. Mm-hmm. And I made a promise to myself, if I ever felt that I was getting close to that point where I would make someone feel badly about themselves, it was time for me to not do this anymore. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy to hear that you feel that when you come in.
Yes.
And that everybody does feel like they can do their best job.
Absolutely. Now I have a question for you. Has the pandemic made you believe something that you hadn't before? Because the pandemic opened up so many things. I lost so many friends and family. And
I'm so sorry. Yeah, we've lost some incredible people, incredible. Mm-hmm. actors, mothers, children. It's been devastating. It's taken a lot out of me personally from being surrounded by so many people every single day of my life for so many years casting, to being alone in a chair at a computer all day. When I did my first Zoom casting and I saw my first actor, I started to cry. I really did. It was so moving to me to actually be able to see someone that I had missed and talk to them and direct them and actually do a casting session. It was remarkable. So I've learned kind of how to Zoom.
Right.
I'm not the most tech savvy. I'm really not. I'll be the first to admit it.
You and I both.
I can operate a camera. I can shoot pictures, take portraits. I can run my video camera. I can direct talent, and I can do lots of things. But put that Mac in front of me with all of these Zoom messages and things, and I do get intimidated, but I've taught myself and learned to do it. What have I learned? I've seen generosity that warms my heart, and I've seen selfishness that hurts my heart. I've seen people who intimidate people that want to feel safe. It's hard to articulate, really. I think we've all seen so much. I've missed my family, my son and his wife at the beginning of the pandemic. They got married in 2019, October of 2019. And they finally came here to New York a year ago. I hadn't seen them since their wedding. And I met my granddaughter for the first time in a parking lot at JFK in the rain, and I put her in my arms and I cried my eyes out. So the pandemic has taught me that life is precious, as I always knew, but that people need people, and we can't take anything for granted. We can't take time for granted. We can't take people for granted. We can't take our health for granted. I know it sounds corny, but I think that I've learned so much, and I've learned to appreciate so much more.
That said, what is it like working and living with your business and life partner, especially where contentions may occur, or are there none?
Well, listen, my husband, my partner, had his own business. And when I went out on my own and technology started advancing, I would come home with my digital chip from my camera, and he would stay up all night uploading all of those pictures and videos so that I could get them online. And he created the website. He built it all himself. When we built the studio, actually, we were in the middle of building the studio, and my dad passed away suddenly. And he wanted to see that studio so badly. And we had trouble with the contractors, and there were always bumps along the road. And the studio was on delay, and it didn't get built in time. And when my dad passed in October of that year, I threw in the towel and I said to my husband, I don't want the studio anymore. It's not done. Just let's pack it all up and cancel the lease. And my dad's never going to see it. It means nothing to me. I don't want it. This man took it upon himself to finish it and build it and make sure it was built the way I wanted it to be built, and pushed me to open that studio and follow my dream. He doesn't do things exactly the way I do things. And sometimes I'm a Taurus, and sometimes I get a little stubborn, but he's a Cancer, and he is the most giving, forgiving, gentle, patient, loving human being I know. Yeah, we scream. I scream. But in the end, we're a really good team. We've always been a good team. Working together, it's incredible. I wouldn't change it for anything in the world.
I really needed to have you on. You have been such a loving, understanding, caring person, especially the times that I fell apart.
I remember those times, Ozzy. I remember those times. And I'm so privileged to have been able to be there for you and lift you up and help you through.
Yes.
As much as I could possibly do.
Yes, you did. Because even after all of that, and the time it took me to get out of that emotion or those emotions I was in, to be able to go back and get the job done. Also, whenever I would leave, my mind was just blown that I could get down there and then get back up and do what I need to do with you. That's your gift. That's your gift.
But you know,
so meaningful. The other part of that too is that when I needed to do the trailer for the movie and the piece that I needed to do, which I had since have to put on hold because taking care of my mom and then my son. You opened up your space with such love, allowing us to do the casting, allowing us to film a piece. It was just so open. And never forget that. Never forget that. And every time I look at the trailer and I see Sarah's face in there, it's just like so wonderful to see her. But it was just your heart was so open, that has stuck with me.
Thank you so much. Listen, you are one of the strongest women I've ever met and one of the most beautiful souls. You are a gift and you are someone who I'm so privileged to know. It's been a privilege for me to know you and to be able to help you. So thank you, Ozzy.
Okay, before I fall apart here, I'm going to say right now, thank you for being on this call. I'm going to say to my audience, thank you for spending your valuable time with us. Please care to share. And remember, when you're on your beat, stay on the sunny side of the street safely. Be health conscious and be kind to one another. And Donna, I've got to say, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I'm saying this on behalf of all the people who may not have said it to you and wish they did. And those who may have said it to you, and I'm saying it again. You have affected us. You have impacted us. You have loved us. You have moved us. You have been kind and generous in your time, your being with all of us. And I want to say thank you so much for being there and also for being here on this call.
Ozzy, thank you so much. This means the world to me. It's been such an honor to, as I said, to be part of this, to have been invited. You had me at hello. I know I thought I didn't feel comfortable doing this. I wasn't sure that I did.
Yes.
Because believe it or not, I'm a little shy. I know that you don't believe that. You do believe it?
I do believe it.
I am shy.
I know.
So you twisted my arm. But I thank you so much for it. And thank you for all of your kind words. And you know what, Ozzy, I love you. So thank you for this. This was a gift. Honestly, this was a complete gift.
Yay! Yay! And we will talk soon, hopefully.
I sure hope so. And I hope it's on 27th Street and we can give each other another hug,
yes.
Right?
Yes. It would be lovely.
Thank you, Ozzy.
Love you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey there. Please help us in our mission to support those facing fatal diseases through our t-shirt sales by donating or shopping at OzzyStewart.com or supporting us at anchor.fm/Ozzy Stewart. That's anchor.fm/Ozzy Stewart. And don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel at Ozzy Stewart. Yep. Leave a comment.